Great. So, like I said, it's fallen down. It's raining. We need some glue constraints. So go back to basically where we put these pieces from. The pieces are, of course, packed geometry, which is, of course, for the millionth time, they're points. They're just points. If I were to put a packed edit down, I could say, just show me those points. I can go to display as centroid, and these are the points. Whether or not I view it as points or not, they are still points. It's just being displayed a different way. But what's significant about that is these are points that, as we know, have names, or rather here, and these are their names in the simulation. So if we want to say connect, the point, the piece represented by this point to the piece represented by this point, what you can do in Bullet is draw a line between them. So what you end up doing is making a whole big spiderweb thing of lines going across the whole thing saying I'm connected to my neighbor and my neighbor's connected to my neighbor and so on and so forth. We can do connect adjacent pieces, which will do that for us and was essentially made for exactly this purpose. So we can see some of the lines anyway. If this is all the points back here, we can see at least some of the lines being generated. Now it's not really enough. The problem right now is that it's being limited by max connections. Each point is only allowed to connect to one other point. Now there could be all kinds of pieces on all sides. If I take this back and I look, this guy has a neighbor here, he has a neighbor here, he has a neighbor here. I want him to connect with everybody on all sides of it. So going back to this, if we start raising this up, well, we might have gotten a couple more, but still not really enough. The other issue we have is the search radius. Right now it's only allowed to search 0.1 unit out in any direction. So by pulling this up, and you can see, and also by letting this increase, together it can search farther and find more neighbors to connect it to. Pretty great. So we don't really need it to, as you can see, a lot of this is being wasted. We don't really need to have it search that far. So I'm just going to say wherever it's kind of stops finding guys, which maybe we'll start at like 0.1 and let's just work our way up a little bit. Maybe there's definitely more guys there. There's more guys there. Nothing really there. So I'm going to keep it at 0.3. And then for max connections, we don't want to have too many because the more connections we have, the slower the sim will go, to be honest. So I'm going to say 12. So I like to imagine connections above, below, front, back, left, and right, which right there is 6, and then double it, so 12. And you can see, we've got a pretty good web here going. I'd say that this probably encapsulates the most of the thing without being too heavy.